Hey, my name is Matthew Prawl, and hey, what's up, Canada? Today we're paying a tribute to the real OG, the First Nation. From the first arrival of Europeans in Canada, the First Nations encountered many main issues, including the control of education, legal inequality with the government, and especially land disputes.
Take a look at this exclusive court case from the late 1900s between government officials and First Nations.
Good morning, Canada, and welcome to the Winnipeg Courthouse, where we are here today to discuss the injustices against various First Nation groups. Okay, First Nations, do you think you could explain your problem with the various industries?
Welcome to Canada! As you can see from my Canadian license plate and my jacket, because it's very cold in Canada, we are in Canada right now. And I am Canadian, I'm a First Nation. So, to tell you, the white-owned industries are developing industries right near our reserves. This is where we live, which is poisoning water and destroying wildlife. To top it all off, these industries are not even providing jobs to the natives, because they only want white, trained businessmen to take the jobs.
Okay, and today from the government we have Mrs. Mataska. And Mrs. Mataska, what is your opinion on all of this?
Hello, I'm Hannah from the Government of Canada. Okay, Lauren, may I remind you that everyone makes mistakes when trying new things. We did not know that this would destroy your lands, and actually this benefited your natives or First Nations because it established the Indian Health Transfer Policy, which allowed you guys to take control of your own health services.
What about the issue with education?
Judge Davis, I have no idea why they had a problem with education. We gave the natives responsibility for their own education in schools.
Well, the government refused to build high schools near the reserves, and this made it hard for children to travel so far, because it was a really long walk. The federal government and churches were slow to respond to the complaints about mistreatment in the residential schools.
In 1998, the Aboriginal Action Plan was established to deal with all of that.
But there was no agreement, and many churches were left bankrupt.
Thank you for that. I would now like to welcome Donald Marshall to the stand to talk about legal inequality. It has recently come to my attention that a royal commission has been created to look at racial inequality in the criminal justice system.
I'm Donald Marshall, and I've been in prison for 11 years for a murder I didn't even commit. I'm a victim of incompetence and a cover-up because I am an Aboriginal. I'm hoping that this Royal Commission will free me and prove that I am not guilty and prove legal inequality and discrimination towards my descent.
We're always looking to improve the Royal Commission and hope that it is effective. Now, do you mind telling us a little bit more about the Helen Betty Osborne case?
Helen Betty Osborne lived in Manitoba. She was kidnapped by 4 white classmates while attending high school. She refused to have sex with them, and so they stabbed her over 50 times, killing her. Everyone in the surrounding towns knew about the event and who was responsible, but they never named names. It took them 14 years for one suspect to be convicted, but everyone knows that if it was a white victim, the RCMP would have acted in a much greater urgency.
Thank you. And do you think race plays a part in any other things?
It's actually a huge problem with land disputes.
Okay, Donald, take a seat. And now, what do you think, Miss His
There
Hate?
aren't any problems with land. First of all, most of us are living in poverty, and the courts are very unsympathetic. Chief Justice Allen rejected our right to land ownership and self-government because he rejected our oral history. One of the reasons we have so many issues is because the court is always disagreeing and very slow to process anything. There were over 500 claims for territory, and only 3 or 4 were settled within the first year. The government has done little to protect the Aboriginals when the British Columbian government had ignored treaties and seized the lands.
Well, we increased Native militancy by trying to negotiate land issues. For example, in 1990, the police clashed with Mohawk warriors over the development of a golf course on sacred Mohawk grounds. This was one of the first times Natives became violent, and one police officer was even killed.
Even though it was not intended, the violence paid off, and the government gave us land.
Forget about the other successes you had. In 1969, the government established the Indian Claims Commission, which reaffirmed your people's rights. Also, Justice Thomas Berger ordered the construction to be halted for the industrialization because it was damaging the environment. This made it impossible for politicians to ignore Aboriginal rights.
So today, even in the 21st century, First Nations suffer higher rates of poverty, unemployment, incarceration, suicide, substance abuse, and health problems
more than any other Canadian citizen.
For watching, and come back with us tomorrow for an exclusive interview with the #1 goalie in the province.
Be sure to catch the show tomorrow for an exclusive interview with me, Nick Davis, the #1 goalie in the province.